Okay. All right. Hey, Redemption Church, Delray Beach. I am here with Cam, Barber. The kids are playing on the trampoline. It is actually sunny here in Washington. Cam is one of those guys that we support. We support a few different church plants specifically around the world. And he is in Lakewood, Washington. Just moved, and it's been awesome spending a couple days with you, hanging out. Here's one thing I love. He is not originally from Washington State. He's from the Southwest. Yep. He moved here a year after I moved to Delray Beach, not knowing anyone, just like me. And look at his gear, okay? This is awesome. We got the Seahawks. We got the Sounders. He's all about Washington State. So, Cam,
all things to all men, man.
Dude, just tell us, how has the transition been from where you're from to right now?
You know, I think it was hard at first, but when you come from a place like the Southwest, and I was in more of like the northern mountains of New Mexico, so we had a lot of snow and different things, but I grew up in a really rural place. Yeah. In a town of less than 19,000, and we come here to a city, and it just kind of felt home right away. When God called us here, it was like, you know, I didn't want a church plant, but I told him, if I'm going to do this, I want three things. I want there to be a need, I want there to be water, and I want you to tell me exactly where it is. And he did all of those three things, and more water than I actually thought was going to happen, because it rains here a lot, except for lately. It's been beautiful. It's so green and awesome right now. But he did all of those amazing things, and he made the transition easily, because let's face it, the Seahawks won the Super Bowl like the second year I was up here. It made it awesome.
You had the Lord's anointing. All right, so how long has the church been going here in South Sound in Lakewood?
It's kind of a different way to say it, because when we started here, we waited about 6 months to actually launch out a church. We didn't really know what to do. Mm-hmm. And then when we launched out a church, we didn't have any money, so we rented a library, and we were only able to meet twice a month. Yep. And so we did that for about 2 years, or a year and a half. Then we finally found a place at the Lakewood Senior Center. So with the new phase of our church, we've been going for about a year, and God's been blessing it. It's been growing. It's been really, really cool. But total, we've been in Washington 3 years. We've been church planting about two and a half.
Yeah. Now, why is it so important that you took 6 months before you even went public? What did you do in that time?
Before we went public, before we launched the church, we spent a lot of time praying over Lakewood, praying about Lakewood, and just trying to meet people here. We didn't know anybody, so we went out, and not like fishing trips, but we went out and we just tried to make friends. Yeah. We just tried to meet people, and we wanted to meet people that weren't Christian and weren't already going to a church, which is pretty easy in Washington. You're from here. Yeah. You know, there aren't a whole lot of people going to church. But we wanted to understand culture. We wanted to really understand how to best communicate the gospel to them, and how best to do church in the context that non-believers are going to understand, and how people that don't go to church would even feel comfortable, because most of the time people that come to our church is their first time coming to church. They walk in the door and they're petrified, but we've changed some things up, and it looks totally different, and we kind of mitigate those barriers before they even walk in the door.
You probably got like 1,000 like I do, but I'm wondering, what are some God stories? What is Jesus doing here in Washington State that has just blown your mind, that you just are I don't know, happy about right now, rejoicing? We're people of things. God's doing things all the time. What is a few things or miracles or something you're rejoicing right now that we could just rejoice with you?
Like the most current thing was really cool. It happened like last week. We have a guy that he was in a car accident, and he lost a lot of his mental ability. He's mentally handicapped for the rest of his life. But before that, he was very heavily into drugs, very heavily into alcohol. He lost both of his parents. He was in a really dark state, and he was sent to prison after this accident because he was on the run. He got out and got clean, and he went through a mental hospital, came to us, because all he knew was he needed God, but he didn't know who that God was. Yeah. He had no idea what to do to get a closer relationship to that God, but he wanted something more out of his life than what was there. And we prayed for him. His name is Joe Williams, please keep him in your prayers. But he gave his life to the Lord about 3 weeks ago, and he has been serving. All he wants to do is serve Jesus. All he wants to do is get to know how to read Scripture. I mean, taking him through the Bible has been awesome.
Yeah.
We get to baptize him in 2 weeks, and it's going to be amazing. But because we are in the place that we are, we're right next to like his house, and so he just like walked in because we had some food. And we invited him in. He had this big bandana on. He looks kind of rough, and he just was like, "I smell pancakes." I was like, come on in, we got pancakes, you know. And it's just amazing to see how God orders things and how he just brings people in that would never ever come to a normal place.
Yeah.
But because, you know, he's God, he can make somebody come from the Southwest to here just to make something happen.
How important was it for you to have outside support, whether it be people praying for you, financially giving, or just another Christian couple to come alongside you and help the church out?
Oh, I mean, all of those things I think are supremely important. We have very, very few believing friends in Washington State, just the church. And it's, I mean, as you know, it's different when you're the pastor, you're their pastor. So having people and just friends outside of that are believers that they just want to talk to you, they just want to know how your family's doing, how you're doing, how life is. That's hugely important for people to do that. Prayer support, I think, is amazing. I mean, we get, anytime I put anything up on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, or I put out an email, I get response all the time, and I know people are praying for us. And that it's hard to say that you feel prayer support, but when you see the things we do, when I'm walking down the street and drug addicts recognize who I am, and they're like, "Hey, you're that preacher that feeds people on Sunday mornings." Like, yeah, that's who we are. Like, you can feel people's prayer support.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of a place where you come and you're like, you know, you're walking in the grace of God because people are praying for you. And it's a weird dynamic that I've never been in before or never experienced before.
Yeah.
But it is supremely important. And then, I mean, the financial support is huge. We minister to people who they couldn't pay the way that, you know, any other place, not any other place, but a lot of other contexts could pay for it. We didn't go into a place that was, you know, upper middle class. We went into a place and we're going to people who, you know, put $5 in the box, and that's like what they've had in a month. When you're pulling in $80 a week, $5 going to your church, that's more than just a little bit of a tithe. And that's huge. That's giving all you can.
Yeah.
And so when we see people that don't have a house give, it's huge. And that's why we rely a lot on our outside support and watching the mission of God go forward here. All of those things are hugely important, and God and everybody have been so faithful to us and so important to watching the mission of Calvary South Sound just see the light of day.
Okay, so they can't see it, but they have the kids in the background. Our kids are playing with your kids. What are your kids' names? We want to know their names. We want to know your wife's name so we can be praying for them by name. And then how are they doing adjusting living here?
Awesome. My wife's name's Brittany. She has been doing really, really well adjusting. She's been lots of new friends, lots of new people. She runs our youth ministry, our children's church ministry. She does an amazing job with that.
Yep.
But lots of prayer with that. We deal with autistic kids and most kids that have never been to church in their life, so they don't even know what to do all of the time. My oldest daughter's name is Mackenzie. She transitioned from an amazing elementary school to more of an inner city school, but we love it. She's doing great.
Yeah.
She has made lots and lots of friends, playing lots of soccer. She's doing pretty awesome. My middle child is Michaela. She just finished first grade, and she is just doing awesome. The school is amazing for her. She's making tons of friends. She's kind of our little popular girl.
Yeah.
She thinks she's bigger than she is, but she's doing awesome. And then my son's name is Timothy. He's 5 years old. He just finished preschool. He's going into kindergarten next year, and he's stoked about life. He's loving it. He doesn't even remember the Southwest, so this is home for him.
That's sweet.
He has no idea. So.
Awesome. So what would you want to say to the people back at Redemption Church? They've never met you before. They know who you are. We support you as best as we can. This is open air, man. What do you want to say to them?
Just let it go. I just want to first say thank you. As as Luke went out to write the book of Acts and the book of Luke, he had another person behind him, Theophilus, that was kind of paying his way. And I always tell people that support us, you guys are like our Theophilus. And because that there is a book of Acts and there's a book of Luke in our Bible, it was because of Theophilus. It was less because of Luke than it was Theophilus. He funded the whole thing. And it was Luke's faithfulness, but it was Theophilus' money. And I think that to send someone and support someone that you've never met, that you've never seen, but you just know God's doing something there and you want to be a part of it, you're more of a part of it than you think. And because of that, we get to do those things. Because of that, we get to baptize some people in 2 weeks. And we just had another baptism last week. And people are hearing the gospel that would never have heard the gospel before in their life. Because we're supported by Redemption, we've given away over 150 Bibles in just over 2 years. And some of those we never see again, but a lot of those people we do see again. And we know that they come back with their Bible all read up. And they have lots and lots of questions, and we get to take them through it. And so, as one church planner talking to another church planner, keep going. God does things that we don't always understand. But he's always moving. He's always moving us forward. He's always teaching us something. And he never does anything without a reason. I always like to find the reason as quickly as I can so I can move on to the next step.
Yep.
And so as you keep going through church planting and the processes, and sometimes things can be frustrating, but God always has a season for us and a purpose for what we're going through. Just keep going, man. And I love you, so just have those things.
I love you as well. Awesome. All right, well, this has been pastor, church planner, and friend, Cam Barber.
I like how you put the camera in. I like that.
Yeah, sort of. It's great. You can check his info at www.southsoundcalvary.
How about we do this?
The Chapel.
It's Calvary.
Tacoma.org/give/
There we go.
What's your website, man?
It's CalvarySouthSound.org.
That's probably. I'll go with his answer.
You go with my answer?
That's more accurate. And he also writes some blogs on our website. You can check them out in the blog section, and has his stuff out there as well. But man, it's just a blessing to support you. We love you. We care about you. And thank you so much for doing this interview.
Thanks, man.